Good morning, world. This is Ivan Amer. It's coming at 6 o'clock in the morning. This video, the internet cord's not here, so you guys are gonna have to wait until my stepfamily reconnects the internet. They're going to church today, so if they reconnect the internet, you guys will see it in a couple hours from now in the morning. If not, you're gonna have to wait until like 1 o'clock today. Obviously, and you guys will see the video after me. Obviously, it's usually after I make my video. If there's no internet, I watch it on my TV because my files stay to my phone, obviously, and then you guys enjoy my video afterwards, obviously. You guys will either watch this video either in a couple hours from now, early in the morning, obviously, or you'll watch it later on today around 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going to have to wait, and I'll make another video around 5, around there, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'll sleep till 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and I will make another video, and before I take my shower, go to the store and get my beer and my smokes, and I'll enjoy the show. Obviously, I just finished watching The Hobbit: Desolation, The Unexpected Journey. Did you like the movie? Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Obviously, Peter Jackson did a pretty good job for someone who winged it. He did a pretty good job for the first two movies. As Unexpected Journey and Destination Smog are pretty good movies. I give it like a 6 out of 10. 6.2, 6.3 out of 10. It was pretty good movies, obviously. There's some flaws in it, obviously, but it was a pretty good movie. But when you watch it, it's clearly not as good as his Lord of the Rings movie. I was hooked watching it, but it wasn't as good as his Lord of the Rings. When I saw Two Towers and Fellowship of the Ring, I enjoyed it far more than The Hobbit, obviously. But The Hobbit has better technology. You can tell the technology is better in The Hobbit, obviously, but the story and the movie is not as good, obviously. You see some flaws in the dialogue, some flaws in the story. You know what I'm saying? Ivan, what's your favorite? What's your best? What do you think is the best of the three movies? Desolation of Smog is the best one in my opinion, and then Unexpected Journey is a very very close second, and Battle of Five Armies is by far the worst one. That was bad, man. Yeah, man, that was bad. Yeah, man, that was bad. I'm saying you can tell when you watch Battle of Five Armies, you can tell Peter Jackson's wing it caught up to him. I saw it behind the scenes on YouTube. Peter Jackson winged it so much that at one point he had to stop production and he had to rethink things. He had to He called up the guys up at Warner Bros. And hey guys, like I'm stuck, I'm lost. I give me a couple weeks to refresh myself. You know what I'm saying? There's even some of the actors even talk about how Peter needed help. Peter needed a lot of help from the studios because he was lost. He had to wing it. Yeah, they gave him like 3 months to prep. He had to wing the movie. Obviously, that's why the Battle for Armies was a mess. It was not a good movie, and the war was awful, and they had bad CGI too. Obviously, it wasn't bad CGI, but it was too much CGI. So much CGI, you can tell the world looked too computery. The elves, the elf army, I'm saying the dwarf army, and the Battle for Armies. They looked too computery and too CGI. The movie wasn't that good, man. It was the worst of the three movies by far. It was the worst of the three movies, obviously. Even though I enjoyed even though I enjoyed Unexpected Journey a lot, that was a pretty good movie. What really pissed me off was the computery orcs and that computery feel. Remember when they talked about the flashback? You know what I'm saying? When that dwarf talked about the flashback, they were capping in the beginning of the movie, right? The dwarf talks about the flashback of the king dwarf, obviously. Obviously, he's like one I can call king. You know, remember that? You know, so remember how you saw the orcs, the war looked very computery and cheesy? Yes. I am not a fan of that look, man. Hence why I'm going to be very, very strict with Peter Jackson if I hire him Peter. Whatever you did for The Hobbit, delete that. Delete your memory of what you did for The Hobbit. I don't want that for my Zays movie. Stick to the natural look. Stay away from that computer look, Peter. I know what I'm doing. I don't want that computer look for fucking Zanus. Otherwise, the movie won't be as good. It'll still be a good movie. Like The Hobbit, you know what I'm saying? It was, even though it was full on CGI, they mixed some of the practical effects, obviously, like on location. Even it was a pretty good movie, obviously. You can tell the too much CGI. The what? Too much CGI. The world looked too computery, obviously. Hence why I'm not a fan of that computery look, man. CGI is good. It's good to make. You need CGI obviously to make your world look amazing, but too much of it will make your world look way too computery. Something like The Hobbit, Star Wars. Full on CGI is good for Star Wars, but it's not good for like a story like Zanus. Zanus, you know what I'm saying? The camera, you can tell when you watch the camera, when you watch the Hobbit movies, you compare Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Lord of the Rings looked a lot more natural than The Hobbit. Whereas The Hobbit, they relied heavily on CGI. Whereas Lord of the Rings, they use a lot of practical effects for the movie, and hence why the movie was better. You see what I'm saying? It was better. If you're gonna do a fantasy world, if you're gonna do a fantasy kind of movie, like Lord of the Rings, stick to practical effects. Stick to the practical effects. Stay away from full CGI. You mix your practical effects with your CGI, your world will look more amazing, but will look more natural. Remember in the end with the Eagles, you saw that beautiful view that it looked very natural. Obviously, that view, yeah, think of something like that. It looks amazing, but looks more natural like that instead of the computer look like you got for the war and the prologue and all that stuff in the Hobbit movies. You know what I'm saying? Peter Jackson Michelle Ivan's like, Ivan, are you saying you don't want any CGI in the movie? No, Peter, I want CGI in my movie. You need CGI. If you don't have any CGI, your world will look. If you need CGI to make your world look amazing, obviously, but don't use full CGI. Mix it with filming on location, and mix it with your build sets, with your big sets. That way, your world looks more natural. Remember that scene when they're in the mines and then you have the Goblin King, they capture the dwarves. Obviously, remember how it looked a bit computer? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna have the construction crewmen build like a 1 acre huge ancient Gilead city with pillars. That way, when you film in the city, obviously the world will look amazing, and you mix in the special effects, the world looks amazing. Peter, I am all for CGI special effects. You need that, obviously. You need it for your movie, obviously, for the special effects, but mix it with your big sets. That way, your world looks more amazing. You see what I'm saying? That's why Peter's really good for Xanus, because he'll have a lot of ideas. And in Hobbit, you have those eagles who rescue the dwarves and Gandalf from Azog and his orcs, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he rescues all those guys. Remember how you saw the eagles? Yeah, think of some of that for Xanus. You have the eagles where the Watchers and stuff. The eagles talk. The eagles talk in what? In the book, obviously. That's why Peter Jackson, yeah, I have so much it is for your book, man, with the eagles. The eagles are very, very minor characters in my book, but I'm going to add more scenes with the eagles to make it more interesting, obviously. The eagles fight the crows. You can have some scenes. You can make a few changes in the movie if you want. But stay away from that computery full CGI and stay away from digital cameras. If you have digital cameras, you're going to get that look like The Hobbit. You're going to get the computery look like The Hobbit. Because they filmed The Hobbit in Red Epic Digital 3D, I believe. Yeah, Red Epic. Red Epic is like the most popular camera in Hollywood. They filmed The Hobbit in Red Epic Digital 3D. Hence why the world looked a bit computery. You see what I'm saying? It looked a bit... Digital is good if you want to use full CGI. If you don't want to use full CGI, stay away from digital. Use the film cameras. That way you get that natural look like Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? But even Lord of the Rings, they use a lot of CGI too. Like the Fangun Forest, they use full CGI for that. The forest looked pretty good, but it looked a little bit computery when Pippa and them were climbing on top of Treebeard. You saw the background looked a little bit computery, yes, because it was full CGI. They had like 6 trees and they had like blue screens. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm actually going to build like a 0.8 acre forest. A huge forest, man, the size of like a football stadium. Imagine a forest the size of like an entire like CFL or NFL football stadium. A forest that big, and then you film in the forest in the world, and you apply the CGI effects towards that. You apply the CGI effects towards the forest. The special effects, obviously, in the world looks amazing. Yeah, and I'm also going to mix in the beauty of Switzerland for the movie. That way, you get the natural look. As Peter Jackson, you can tell in The Hobbit, there were some scenes when you can tell they filmed it on location. When the orcs were running when the dwarves were running from the orcs. And they go into that cave, obviously, and it leads to Rivendell. Remember that in Unexpected Journey? Yeah, you can tell that scene they filmed it on location. Yeah, you mix in your set building and your CGI with the beauty of Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? And you build sets on location. That way your world looks natural. Okay, Peter, I want the sets to be something like Helm's Deep. Build sets like Helm's Deep, Rohan, The Shire, Rivendell. That way your world looks amazing. You add in the CGI special effects, but you mix it with your big sets. That way your world looks better. It looks amazing, but it looks more natural. You get the more natural film. You don't get that computer look like The Hobbit. And you rent film cameras, film IMAX cameras. They have film IMAX cameras and they have digital IMAX cameras. Rent the film ones. That way you get the natural look. I know what I'm doing. Tell Peter Miyamoto that way they know. And tell Peter I don't want computery Eritat, full on CGI like Azog and fucking The Hobbit. No. You know, I'm sorry, I don't want to look like that though. Yeah, Azog looked a bit cheesy. Yes, he full on CGI. Azog looked a bit cheesy, obviously, because it was full on CGI. You compare him to the Orcs and Lord of the Rings. The Orcs and Lord of the Rings look better, man. They look much better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. I was gonna watch Obi-Wan, but then I kind of wanted to watch The Hobbit, obviously. Okay, if I hire Peter Jackson, let's study his movies. I watched Two Towers, I watched Fellowship of the Ring, masterpieces obviously, and I watched The Hobbit. Now I'm gonna watch The Hobbit, obviously. I just finished watching Unexpected Journey. I'm gonna watch Destination of Smog today, obviously. Watch Destination of Smog today. Obviously, I'm gonna watch Desolation of Smog today. Desolation of Smog today, obviously. Yeah. Watch Desolation of Smog today. Obviously, yeah. Desolation of Smog is the best of the three movies, in my opinion. Because that's when you meet Legolas, that's when you meet Toriel, whatever her name is. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you have you have the Smog scene. I love that scene with the dragon. That was pretty cool. I like Destination of Smog the best of the three movies. And Journey is a very, very close second. And then the worst one is Battle of Armies by long shot. You didn't Jackson, yeah, Ivan, Battle of Armies was bad. Yeah, it was a bad movie, man. It was like I give it like a 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10, 4.8 out of 10. It wasn't that great, man. The war was terrible. It wasn't good at all. You know what I'm saying? Too computery. It was bad. Compare it to the Helm's Deep battle, night and day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The only thing I like better about the Hobbit series is the technology. Obviously, you can tell the technology is a lot better than the Lord of the Rings. Better CGI, obviously, than Lord of the Rings. And I liked how when Bilbo puts on the ring, he's invisible. I like that version in the Hobbit better than the Lord of the Rings version. And Sauron in the Hobbit is portrayed better when you see the eye and the shadow figure of Sauron. It's portrayed better in The Hobbit, obviously, but the series was. There's some people who like the Hobbit trilogy better, obviously, but it's not better, man. It's worse. It's not better than Lord of the Rings trilogy, isn't there? Yeah, yeah. So that's why, Peter, I don't want you winging like you did for The Hobbit, man. You need to be prepped. I need you going over all your notes, take your notes, do the concept arts with me, watch those movies with me, and I'll give you my ideas. I'll help him out a little bit, obviously. That way he's prepped. When he studies his notes, studies the script with Guillermo del Toro, and that way he's prepped. During production, you get a fucking amazing movie. You get a movie better than even his Lord of the Rings trilogy by a slim margin. Better than Lord of the Rings by a slim margin. And it'll definitely be better than The Hobbit, as The Hobbit trilogy was okay. It wasn't that great, you know what I'm saying? It was okay. It was not bad. Like, it was pretty good. But it wasn't great like Lord of the Rings, you know what I'm saying? Because Peter Jackson winged it. He wasn't prepped. I did not see the behind the scenes of The Hobbit. You get some behind the scenes of The Hobbit on YouTube, obviously, but it's just like vlogs of Peter Jackson and all the actors behind the scenes. Whereas if you want to see the behind the scenes of The Hobbit, you have to purchase the extended editions of The Hobbit on Amazon. The Blu-ray, you can get the Blu-ray or you can get the 4K Blu-ray. I might purchase The Hobbit Blu-ray extended edition, but it's like $150, man. It's expensive. You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of my money gone. You see what I'm saying? If I was working, I would have purchased the Hobbit Blu-ray extended edition. I would have watched all the behind the scenes. I never saw all the behind the scenes of The Hobbit, but I saw all the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. I used to own the DVD extended editions with all the special features and the appendices, all that stuff. Creating Middle Earth, yeah. I bought the book, Anything You Can Imagine. Peter Jackson. It's a biography of Peter Jackson. How when he was a kid he wanted to be a filmmaker, and how he got the rights to make Lord of the Rings. His journey of writing the script, and you get the interview all the actors. I recommend you guys check it out. Just type in Anything You Can Imagine. The Making of Middle Earth, Peter Jackson, and you can read the book. It's like $20 on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. You get the biography of Peter Jackson's story of how he created Middle Earth, the movie, him writing the script, all that stuff. I bought it for like $20 on Amazon. It's coming in like any day now. I'm gonna read that. I'm excited to read that. So I have my side full book to study, obviously, and I'm also gonna binge the shit out of that book, man. It's like a 500 like 90-page book. It's about Peter Jackson's life as a director. It's an amazing looks like an amazing book, obviously. I'm gonna read it. Obviously. It looks like an amazing book, man. I recommend you guys pick, all you Lord of the Rings nerds, you pick it up. All you Lord of the Rings probably know, but yeah, we know about the book. I recommend you guys pick up that book. Anything you can imagine, the makings of Middle Earth. Just say anything you can imagine Peter Jackson on Google, and you'll get the book. It shows Peter Jackson's face. He has this like weird, funny face, and it's by Ian something, the author Ian. You can what? You can find it on Amazon. Amazon has everything you need to buy, right? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hence why I'm going to be very, very strict with Peter Jackson if he's hired. There's a high chance he might be hired because I'm going to hire the Lord of the Rings crewmen who worked on the Hobbit. The Lord of the Rings crewmen also worked on the Hobbit too. They're the same people pretty much, right? Yeah. So I'm going to hire, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to put out an ad for the Lord of the Rings crewmen who worked on the original trilogy like 20. By then it'll be like 26 years ago, whatever it is. Hire those guys who worked on Lord of the Rings to work on your Zane's movie. That way you get a good movie, obviously. I'm saying the Lord of the Rings crewmen are the best people to work on my Zane's movie because Zane's is a fantasy world like Middle Earth. You know what I'm saying? The Weta Workshop's going to create all the weapons, the armor. They're going to build the miniature sets, all that stuff. Well, I won't be building much miniature sets, as most of my sets are going to be built either in studio or on location. I'm not going to build those small miniature sets and film it like we did for the Black Gate of the Black Gate of Mordor. No, I'm gonna actually have people be like, yeah, Ivan. The only reason why we did that, the only reason why we built small miniature sets for Lord of the Rings, because we couldn't afford it, Ivan. We only had like a shitty like $4 or $5 million budget for building sets, and so we only had enough money to build the Shire, Rohan, Minas Tirith, and like what, and like a small set of Osgiliath and what, and Rivendell and all that stuff, and a small set of Mordor, a small tiny set for the mountains. You know what I'm saying? Whereas for you gave me a $30 million budget for sets. We can build a big 1 acre mountain. Yeah, I could build a big 1 acre mountain, like I showed you in that video a couple days ago of a big mountain with mossy trees. You know what I'm saying? And you apply the special effects towards that mountain, your world looks amazing. It looks real. It looks amazing, better than Avatar, but it looks very, very real. And because I'm putting $400 million towards special effects, obviously, the eagles, the full-on CGI eagles, think of something better than what you got for the Hobbit eagles in the Hobbit series. You know, all those eagles look pretty good. Yeah, think of something better than half of the eagles. For the crows, Aratat's crows talk. They talk, yeah. They're big crows and they talk, obviously. They can kill humans. Aratat's spies, obviously. And you also have what? The wild crows and ravens. Ravens are crows. The wild crows, right? You have the CGI stags, snakes, and you also have the beautiful stags and birds in the north. And you have the northern Gilead Mountains, too. The northern Gilead Mountains, I'll have that mountain be like 0.6 acres. It's not as big as the southern Gilead Mountains. The northern Gilead Mountains are not as big as the southern Gilead Mountains, but they're pretty big, and they lead to the city's edge. Build a nice, like, 0.67 acres mountain. You have them build, like, trees, all that stuff. It looks amazing, obviously. You apply the special effects towards that, your world will look amazing, even better. Ivan, what's a good example of the world of Zanus? The good example of Zanus is, remember in the end of Unexpected Journey? Remember when the eagles were flying and you got that beautiful view of all the mountains and stuff? It looked that scene, the mountains look very natural. Obviously, I guarantee you for that scene, what they did was they what? They mixed in the New Zealand beauty with the CGI special effects. And that's why it looks so good. Yeah, think of something like that for my world. Like, it looks amazing, but it looks very, very natural. It doesn't have that computery. Ivan, will there be some scenes that look? Yeah, the eagles will look a little bit computery because they're full on CGI. The crows will look a bit computery because they're full on CGI. Obviously, the stags, the snakes, the wild crows. You know what I'm saying? The mosquitoes, the jaguars are going to look a little computery because they're full on. They're full on. Those are all full on CGI. Full on CGI animations, obviously for the movie, obviously. Whereas the wolves and bats are going to look natural, like the ring race in Lord of the Rings. The best example I can describe for the wolves and bats, think of the ring race in Fellowship of the Ring. They looked scary, they looked really good, but they looked very natural. In the scene when they're approaching Frodo and all of them, Baku Devils, remember that? They look very natural. Yeah, think something like that for the wolves and bats. Or a better example, think something like that will be in Annabelle. They're gonna work. They're gonna be scared like that. They have this like costume mask, something like that. The company. I'm gonna tell you, Peter. The company. The company. What? The company that what? I'm gonna. Peter, I want to find the company that created these specific costumes and masks. That's like the Devil Being Annabelle for the Annabelle movie. I want to call that company, and we're gonna create similar masks and costumes for the demon wolves and demon bats, and they look natural, but they look scary. I don't want them looking like the orcs in Rings of Power. They'll look cheesy. No, the orcs in Rings of Power look very natural, obviously, but they look a little cheesy and goofy, obviously. And I don't want them looking like the orcs. I don't want masks like the orcs in Lord of the Rings. No, otherwise it won't be as good. No, have them wear a more professional mask, not a cheaper mask like those orcs. No, a more professional mask like that. Devil Being Annabelle. They're demons, but they're 3 times scarier. I know what I'm doing. That way your world looks amazing, obviously. So for this video, I want to really talk about my Zanus movie because I'm excited for my movie. Every time I watch Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, I watch The Hobbit. Something tells me I might buy his trilogy on Amazon, man. You know what I'm saying? His Blu-ray. I don't feel like buying a 4K Blu-ray player. I don't feel like buying a 4K Blu-ray player, but I have my PlayStation, so I can buy the Blu-ray, the Hobbit Extended Edition Blu-ray. Obviously, I could do that. I might buy it on Amazon. I want to get the extended edition because I want to see the behind the scenes of The Hobbit. When they made the behind the scenes and when they made The Hobbit, obviously. Obviously, it builds excitement for Zanus because I'm going to be hiring all those guys who worked on Lord of the Rings to work for my movie. Only the crewmen, whereas the producers and all of them, I'm not going to hire all the producers who worked on Lord of the Rings. No, I'm only going to hire like two people two people who worked on. I'll hire the Barry Osborne guy, and I can hire Fran and Philip if you want. You can hire Fran and Philip if you want. They can be your assistant producers if you want. You can have them help Peter Jackson out if you want. I'm going to ask Peter, is Guillermo del Toro, my 2 script developers, and me, and George Lucas and me, VJ, enough to help you with the concept arts and directing and stuff, or do you need some assistant help? He's like, I don't know, Ivan, I'm fine. I have Guillermo del Toro help me, I'm fine. Yeah, you don't need any more help. But I might hire Fran. You can have Fran, his partner, and I believe it's Peter Jackson's wife or partner, whatever it is, or partners, and and have her help out Barry Osborne, because the Philip woman, I don't believe she produced it. She just wrote it. You can have Fran be your assistant producer, Peter's wife, right, or partner, whatever it is. And you can have what? You can have You can have what? And you can have Barry Osborne assist your 17 with producing work. The 3rd year, and I might have Barry Osborne perhaps, and Fran do producing duties the 2nd year, because the 2nd year I'm gonna have Weta Workshop. You know what I'm saying? Weta Workshop, the people overseeing the extras, the people who design the costumes. Obviously, I might have them start work the 2nd year. That way, I give them more time. Hey, you guys are gonna create thousands of armors and weapons and costumes. And you need to give the people time. I might have them start working on the... so I might fly in the costume designers, Weta Workshop, obviously. The costume designers, Weta Workshop. And I might fly in Barry Osborne and Fran. I'll sign all those guys the 1st year, obviously. And I can have them start doing producing duties the the second year, obviously. I'll pay them a nice $50,000. That's a good paycheck for them. If Barry Osborne does his producing duties the second year, you can pay him, I don't know, pay him like $50K to produce the second. He'll only be in Switzerland for a couple months. Or he'll be there for a whole year, actually. Pay him like his $100K. Or 50K is enough. Pay him $50K for that the second year. He won't be doing as much work. He's only going to be overseeing the business for the people overseeing the extras. You can have him and Fran oversee the people overseeing the extras. Handle the business for that. And you can have him handle the business for Weta Workshop, who are going to be creating the arm and weapons, and the costume designers who are going to design all the costumes for all the actors for the movie, as well as costumes for the actors. I want you to design costumes for the actors too. Design as much as you can, and once you reach your limit, I will just rent the rest. I'll have my 17 make the calls for the rest of the extras. And you just call a top-notch company, you rent all the costumes or buy them for the extras to wear. Make sure you get good costumes that are good for Fantasy World. The extras' costumes don't have to be the greatest because they're background extras. The camera doesn't really focus on them. Hence why you don't have to really worry about the costumes for the extras. Whereas the main actors, you got to custom make the costumes for them. The nice costumes for the extras. Is it there? Do that way you what? Do that way you what? That way you that's a good deal. And you can pay them the third year, you can pay them the $100K. That's $150,000. Obviously. And the final year you pay in the nice $50,000. It's a good paycheck for Barry Osborne and Fran. That's a good paycheck for assistant producer. If they want like $1 million, I'm like, guys, I'm not gonna pay you $1 million. You're my assistant producer. As in Hollywood, they probably pay you your $200K. $300K as assistant producer. Because you're an assistant producer, I'm not going to pay you as much. I'll pay you $700,000. That's good enough. As you're not going to make it in Hollywood. In Hollywood, you're probably going to make $400,000, $300K as assistant producer. This is a good enough paycheck. If you don't like it, I'll hire a cheaper producer and you'll be left behind. Oh, I mean, it's a deal, yes. And if they try to get a piece of my royalties, I'm like, guys, you're my assistant producer. You're not getting shit. If Barry Osborne gets cocky, you know what I'm saying, and he wants a piece of my royalties, I'm like, Barry, I'm not going to give you a piece of my royalties. You're not worth it. You're my assistant producer. You're not getting squat. You know what I'm saying? If Fran wants a piece of her royalty, she's not getting squat either. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I believe Fran is Peter's wife. Yeah, Fran is Peter's wife or partner. They have like kids together and all that stuff. Yeah, Fran, you're sharing. You're already rich. Obviously, you're sharing. What? Peter's wealth is pretty much your wealth, as you guys are sharing in each other's wealth, obviously, because you guys are in a relationship. I don't know if they're still married. I don't know, but I believe Fran is Peter Jackson's wife or partner, and they have kids together. They have like 2 kids together, I believe, right? Yeah. Obviously. I don't know, maybe not, but back then, I believe, during Lord of the Rings, Fran was Peter's wife or partner. Yeah. They were together, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my deal for Peter Jackson, if he's hired, I'll pay him his $10 million signing bonus for pre-production, his $65 million salary during production. I'll give him a $10 million post-filming bonus. I'll give him his $2,000 gift card, $60,000 worth of promotion money, which is nice, and a $3,500 gas card. So that's my deal for Peter, and he gets the perks. He'll be staying in the suites in Vancouver. I can easily afford to have him stay in suites. As I went online, yeah, the starting price for suites is like $600 plus a night. And I'm like, oh my god, it's cheaper than I thought. Yeah, I can easily have Peter stay in suites. Yeah, hey, have Peter and all of them stay in suites, but make sure the suite is not over $4,000 a night. You can have him stay in a $800, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. The best suites in Vancouver, you can have him stay in, but just make sure it's not over $4,000 a night. Have him stay in a luxury hotel. It'll cost me $1.5 million. I can easily afford it. Big budget. Have them stay in suites, that way you give Peter Jackson them a good experience, and hence why my company blows high out of the waters. Hollywood cannot afford this. Hollywood, they would have Peter stay in a standard like $250 a night hotel. You see what I'm saying? A $250 a night hotel is even nice. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the moment you stay in like $700, $800 a night suites, those are nice fucking rooms, man. Like suites or suites, yeah. Peter Jackson will be staying in the suites, man. With the jacuzzi, all that stuff, yeah. With Guillermo del Toro. If he's hired, most likely Peter will most likely choose. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is the best man to help me as a producer. He co-wrote The Hobbit with me. He wrote The Hobbit, the first one. You know what I'm saying? He worked on The Hobbit. You know what I'm saying? He'll have a lot of good ideas to help me out. Yeah, that's why Guillermo del Toro is good. He also did Pan's Labyrinth, which is fantasy, horror. He'll have a lot of good ideas to help out Peter Jackson as an assistant director. You see what I'm saying? So I'll pay Peter his 107 for the 4 years of Zanus, 4.5 years of Zanus, right? And I'll give him 0.6% of the profits. If the movie does 176 billion or less, he'll make his what? Peter Jackson will make his like $300 million in profits, whatever it is. The movie does more, he gets 0.4. He'll still make his $250 million in royalties. Peter Jackson, $280 million in royalties. So he signed what, like a 400, 300, 350, $400 million deal. Peter Jackson, more than what he made for Lord of the Rings. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. If the movie grosses more, I'll give him 0.4. Let's say if 1.5 on people buying movie, Peter Jackson, if he gets 0.4, he'll still make $300 million, $280 million in royalties. It's a lot of money. Excluding his 107, he signed his $350+ million deal. Peter Jackson signed his $350 million deal. His $350 million deal he signed. It's a fat contract, biggest contract ever for a director. As directors in Hollywood, even guys like James Cameron don't make that kind of money, man. You know what I'm saying? Michael Bay doesn't make that kind of money, no. You know what I'm saying? Those guys probably make $30 million, $25 million for the movies on average. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my company blows out of the water. That's my deal for Peter Jackson. Obviously. And hence why he will work hard for me, because I paid him more money than how much he even made for Lord of the Rings. As for Lord of the Rings, I heard Peter only made $10 million for the 3 movies. So during the 9 months, so Peter Jackson, I heard, made $10 million for the whole project. For the whole like 4 or 5 years of pre-production and production and post-production, he made like $10 million, and he negotiated for like 2% of the profits for each of the movies around there, and he struck it rich, and he made his $180 million for the 3 movies. Peter Jackson. That's how much money he made, obviously. Yeah. Hence why Peter will work hard, because Peter's like, oh my god, like I'm paying Peter $10 million for just pre-production alone. That does not include production. Production, he gets his rich $65 million salary. Peter Jackson, $65 million. That's a lot of money. Directors in Hollywood don't make that, man. They make like 20, 15, 5. And I'm saying $65 million is a lot of money. Peter Jackson's walking in like it's 2.2. Yeah, he's making like 2.2, $2.3 million every 2 weeks. Peter Jackson, around there, right? Yeah, he's getting his nice $2.2 million check for 2 weeks. You're in production. He'll work hard. So even though he'll be stressed out and tired and all stuff, because he's working all day and it's 9 months, it's grueling work. He'll work hard because he's getting that nice bi-weekly check. He'll work hard during pre-production because I paid him his $10 million, which is how much he made for the whole fucking contract for the whole term of the Lord of the Rings. Obviously. So Peter Jackson only made $10 million around there for the 3 movies, for the pre-production as well as filming the 9 months of his Lord of the Rings trilogy. It took 9 months to film the 3 volumes, the three movies of Lord of the Rings. They started in 1999. They ended in 2000, filming Lord of the Rings. And